Check, check.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to MSME Steel Conclave 2018. एक दरख्वास्त है सभी guests से कि please kindly settle down and take your seats because we are waiting to start the event now. So ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats so we can begin with our sessions.
Check it. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yes, it's a kind request to all our guests to please take your seats and settle down so we can begin with the event. All the people who are listening to me here in the front and at the back, please kindly settle down so we can start with the proceedings. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Our chief guests are arriving in next couple of minutes. It's a kind request to please settle down. आपसे दरख्वास्त है कि आप please अपनी seats ले लीजिए so we can begin with the event. हमारे chief guest यहाँ पे कुछ ही देर में आ रहे हैं, actually आ गए हैं. So he'll be coming here soon. So please, it's a request to please settle down. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a kind request to kindly settle down. Everyone, it's a kind request. Please be seated so we can start with the proceedings. आप कृपया कर एक अपनी चेयर पे बैठ जाएं so we can begin with the session. Namaskar, namaskaram, suprabhat. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of SRAM, that is Steel Re-Rollers Association of Maharashtra, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to each one of you for taking out your precious time and being present here with us at this wonderful grand conclave. Welcome to MSME Steel Conclave 2018. Can we have a thunderous round of applause for it, ladies and gentlemen? आज आप अपना कीमती समय निकाल यहाँ आए उसके लिए आपका बहुत धन्यवाद करते हैं. On behalf of SRAM, that is Steel Re-Rollers Association of Maharashtra, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to each one of you. MSME Steel Conclave is in association with SRAM, that is Steel Re-Rollers Association of Maharashtra, and is supported by the Ministry of Steel, Government of India. As you all know, SRAM was formed in April 1972 with the objective to promote the MSME steel sector in Maharashtra and to obtain the legitimate rights for the steel industry and to make all possible efforts to ensure smooth working of the steel re-rolling industry in Maharashtra in particular and the country in general. Without further ado, I would like to welcome our chief guests for the day. जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत करते हैं श्री चौधरी बीरेंद्र सिंह जी, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टील, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. Very warm welcome to you, sir. Let's give a really warm welcome to Srimati Dr. Aruna Sharma ji, Secretary of Steel, Government of India. Very warm welcome to you, ma'am. जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत करते हैं श्रीमती रुचिका चौधरी गोविल जी, जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी, स्टील, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. Let's put our hands together for Shri Yogesh Mandhani ji, President, Steel Re-Rollers Association of Maharashtra. And let's welcome Shri Kamal Gupta ji, General Secretary, Steel Re-Rollers Association of Maharashtra. Thank you so much. It's an honor and privilege to have you here. And now, may I please request Shri Yogesh Mandhani ji, President SRAM, to felicitate Shri Chaudhary Birender Singh ji, Minister of Steel, Government of India, with a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Shri Birender Singh ji is a member of Rajya Sabha. He is Union Minister of Steel since July 2016. Shri Birender Singh ji has given a new direction and vision to the Indian steel sector after assuming charge as the minister. Yes. Under his leadership, India's export of steel has doubled and the country has become a net exporter of steel after a gap of 3 years. Birendra Singh ji has been a 5-time legislator for Haryana. Let's again have a huge round of applause for them. May I please request Shri Vipin Agarwal ji from Vistar Steel to kindly felicitate Srimati Ruchika Chaudhary Govil ji, Joint Secretary, Government of India, with an applause, ladies and gentlemen. She is an IRS IT officer from the 1990 batch. Currently, she is appointed as the Joint Secretary in the Ministry, Government of India. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say that light and brightness has always been associated with faith and positivity. To start today's conclave on an auspicious note, we will now have the lamp lighting ceremony, and may I request our chief guest to do the honors, please. Let's have a thunderous round of applause for them and for the lamp lighting ceremony. Yes, ma'am, please do the honors. Let's keep applauding, ladies and gentlemen, for this really auspicious moment. Video presentation. So may I request all our chief guests to kindly settle down on the sofas, please. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, now let's have a look at how MSME wrote its story on the sands of time. Let's have an attention on the screen. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I, MSME Steel Sector. Today I'm feeling blessed. My mentors, Steel Ministry, dignitaries, concerned government officials and my MSME colleagues are here to discuss the present and future of my sector. Yes, I know that I'm part and parcel of the budding India and its growth story. I feel really happy for it. When the growth takes place due to the initiative taken by government policies like housing for all, make in India, electricity for all, infrastructure development, agriculture growth, education and health for all, and coastal development. This results to demand of steel. Let us have a look on entire steel sector's production. In the financial year 1991-92, production was 22 million tons. And in financial year 2015-16, it reached to 122 million tons. At present, India has become the third largest steel producer in the world. With the fast-growing economy of our nations, steel production will reach to 225 million tons by the year 2030. And India will become the second largest steel producer of the world, which has been well targeted by my government. I am proud to say that presently I am the major contributor, sharing 60% of the total steel sector's production. At present, my spread is like number of re-rollers units are 1,392. Induction furnace units are 1,128. Sponge iron units are 308. Electric arc furnace units are 48. Talking about my future growth, by year 2030, it is predicted that my contribution sharing will reach more than 60% and may go up to 75% of the total steel production of 225 million tons. My production capacity as on 1st January 2017 was 36 million tons by EAF route and 38 million tons by IF route. By the year 2030-31, my production capacity will increase by more than 75% and reach up to 170 million tons. Presently, I have given direct employment to 5 lakh people and indirectly around 20 lakh people. With the growth of steel sector, my employment power will also grow immensely, and in the coming years, my employment power will be double than today. And I'm most trusted for creation of employment in Pan-India and in developing rural economy. It's very interesting thing to observe that I have large variations among various units such as scale of operations, product mix, technology, and quality standards. The key factors behind my growth are less capital cost and less land requirement. My feasibility can be possible from micro to medium capacity without disturbing the quality standards. Though 85% coking coal is imported for manufacturing of steel by other routes in India, I do not require coking coal for the manufacturing process. I am capable to handle various percentage of raw material, mix of scrap, sponge iron and pellets in the process of production as per availability. I have been empowered by latest technology to produce quality steel at low cost. I have an ability to reach at any location in short time and fulfill need for the growth of my country. As per the Paris Climate Summit 2015, now GHG emissions is an international concern and India has compulsion to reduce it to 30% by 2030, and the steel industry also have the same target for this. Presently, large steel producers are having specific energy consumption of 2.2 metric ton of oil equivalent per ton of steel, whereas my specific energy consumption is far below, and it is 1.2 metric ton of oil equivalent per ton of steel. This indicates that I am going with green environment along with my productivity simultaneously. My request to the ministry, government officials and my patrons is to glorify me for the growth of nation and be kind enough so that I get better and high appreciation without any differentiation. I would seek to get support from my government for upliftment of my sector by all means. I can produce the quality steel of international standards provided that incubation centers and various steel clusters are established in India at various locations, which will make our India major exporter of steel. I assure to go hand in hand with the growth of India.
Respected dignitaries, a warm welcome to Steel Conclave 2018 West Zone, Mumbai. Here we are to welcome you all, and we want to hear a lot from our ministry. We, the MSME steel sector, appreciate the open hand support given by our ministry. But the era not ends here. We look forward for the more from our government to uplift for our MSME steel sector by doing ease of raw material, technology, finance, exports and many more. We urge for a separate steel policy for our MSME steel sector. Although our steel ministry have abolished the classification of the steel sector, the same needs to be implemented in every government agencies and it should be properly propagated. We are thankful to our steel ministry, our government delegates who have come across to witness this event of MSME Steel Conclave 2018. I also thanks my MSME colleagues who have come across with one voice and one hope. I feel personally that our hopes and our voice will be fruitful today.
Thank you.
have a louder round of applause for MSME steel sector, please? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call someone who is quoted as the undisputed personality of the steel and fertilizer industry. He is Mahalakshmi TMT's co-founder and director. A visionary leader, he is committed to establishing Steel Re-Rollers Association of Maharashtra as a value-driven organization. A people's person, he has seamlessly embedded qualities of diligence, integrity, and punctuality in all aspects of the business, ensuring value for all stakeholders. Let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Yogesh Mandhani, ladies and gentlemen, to please come on stage and present his welcome note. Thank you. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, MSMEs. A warm welcome to our Chief Guest, Honorable Minister of Steel, Government of India, Shri Chaudhry Virender Singh Ji, Honorable Secretary Steel, Government of India, Dr. Arunaji Sharma, Shri Sunil Ji Porwal, Additional Chief Secretary, Industry Department, Government of Maharashtra, who has stuck up in a traffic and will be shortly joining us, Srimati Ruchika Ji Chaudhry Govil, Joint Secretary Steel, Government of India. It brings me a great pleasure to host a first ever MSME Steel Conclave West Zone. It has been possible just due to support of our Ministry of Steel. I also welcome my MSME colleagues, ASRA Executive Committee members, government officials, media friends, sponsors and exhibitors. Today, we are here to discuss various strategies of MSME steel sector to fulfill the dream of our mentors for boosting the steel sector's growth in India. To achieve this, we are going with various sessions for a day. Upliftment of MSME steel sector and support. Use of MSME steel in government infrastructure projects. Finance, banking for the new era of MSME sector. Waste to wealth creation, new technology, export opportunity and government support, etc., etc. It is an honor that the experts from the government and MSME sector are leading this session for us. I would just like to highlight that even when the entire steel sector was at its downtrend globally, our MSME sector sustained and given a far better growth and is bound to do further. It is the beauty of our sector that we are spreaded all across the nation and are fulfilling the dream of Make in India, Make in Steel, Startup India, Skill India, and generating a local employment. We humbly urge, on the basis of quality standards and for the realistic development of our nation, our MSME steel should be promoted in all government projects for Make in India. Thanks for all for the MSME Steel Conclave 2018 West Zone. Once again, I welcome each and everyone to this conclave. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the warm welcome. Thank you. And now, the moment that we all have been waiting for. May I please request, I humbly invite Shri Chaudhry Virender Singh Ji, Minister of Steel, Government of India, to kindly come on stage. और आप यहाँ पे आए और सभा को संबोधित करें with an encouraging round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very warm welcome to you, sir.
Namaskar. Seminar on this Steel Re-Rollers Association organized by Maharashtra Steel Re-Roller Association. And also to see that, so it is organized by Maharashtra Association, but they have given a wide field for all West India, whatever the size of the steel units and I've seen that not only from Western India, but the delegates are from other parts of the country, especially the Northeast. I'm here to speak out something which has been explained by the president of the association, Mr. Mandhani, Secretary Steel, Government of India, Madam Aruna Sharma is here, and she would give full view of our initiatives, our steps which we have taken for. Actually, the word which I should use is to make the steel making a level playing field for all, maybe integrated plant, maybe which is called secondary steel. Here present one of our Joint Secretary, Srimati Ruchika Chaudhary Govil, and the Association's General Secretary Kamal Gupta ji, Vipin Agarwal ji, Vice President, and all delegates from Maharashtra units, and also some of the other association of secondary steel. When our government took charge in 2014, steel industry was in dire straits and struggling for survival. We took series of bold and timely initiatives which led to resurgence and revival of the Indian steel sector. As a result of these initiatives, in the first quarter of 2018, our country has become the second largest steel producer in the world. The documentary was putting us at number 3, but maybe produced before we could gain this position of second largest, and surpassing Japan. Earlier during the year 2015, India became the third largest steel producer, surpassing USA. The downstream units like rollers have played a significant role in this achievement. Steel re-rolling mill sector in India is one of the very important segments and a key link in the supply chain of iron steel production in the country. Apart from long product mills with the reheating furnaces and rolling mills, a few units have completed backward integration and by installing induction furnaces. Other units should also follow this model for better quality and cost control. Secondary steel sector produces more than half of the total crude steel in India, and what has been shown is they may be, in the times to come, maybe around between 70 to 75%. This is In case the TMT sector contributes over 60% of the total TMT production in the country, so the sector forms a bedrock of the construction and infrastructure sector. Secondary steel sector will be the major contributor in realizing the objectives set under National Steel Policy 2017. The opportunity provided by the current low level of per capita finished steel consumption in India must be grabbed by this sector. It should gear up to meet the local demand, especially the steel required in rural and semi-rural areas of the country, thereby helping growth in rural steel offtake. In the steel sector, we have been hearing a lot about non-performing assets and loans. But we must note that largely major steel plants only have led to the high exposure of, and NPA's secondary steel sector are much less as compared to big players. Total NPA in MSME steel plants are less than 10% of the bank exposures. As you all must be aware, for recognizing the contribution and stature of the secondary steel sector, we had announced institution of awards for the secondary steel producers. Entries have already been received and the winners will be awarded soon in the coming months. I have received certain suggestions just talking to different delegates, those who are here, that even this secondary steel should have some categories where the entire sector can feel that we are also being considered for a particular award. So this would be the beginning, and this may be our first award function in the times to maybe after a month or so. But one thing is very clear, that we have given recognition to this sector, knowing it that if ministry is to take some effective steps to increase the capacity of steel by 2030-31, that is 300 million tons, and also see that the consumption is also raised to a level where we can say that now we are somewhere nearing international level of consumption, then this sector must be given priority, and also to see that this sector is more near to the common man than the integrated steel plants. And that is why you were claiming that 5 lakh employment, you have direct employment, and indirect put together comes to 25 lakh, more than 25 lakh. And also to your projection shows that it may be double when we will be nearing the capacity of 70% from the secondary steel. So that is how, when we took a decision that let the secondary steel should give the attention which is required by any of the government, then our focus was, when our Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi talks of Make in India, then steel sector is one of the factors which should be in the light of the Prime Minister's thought of Make in India, then let there be something very positive. And for that, I know that in shortest possible time, you may be able to make this slogan of ours, Make in India, a reality. And the objective of instituting this award scheme is to give recognition to outstanding performance and contribution to the national economy by secondary steel producers. I'm sure the award will encourage all of you to achieve better standards of efficiency, quality, safety, and economy in our operations. There are certain inherent challenges before the secondary steel sector, which are not letting them grow to their fullest potential. Most of the units are running at low energy efficiency and poor productivity due to technologies and processes that have become old and outdated. And when we were having a round of the exhibition put up, that showed somehow that the secondary steel is trying to get out of this conventional rut of producing steel in a conventional way. They have thought of, or they have come out with certain new technologies which would certainly give fillip to the efforts of our achieving the targets which we have set. Ministry of Steel has taken steps to identify and implement energy efficient technologies and bring down specific energy consumption and CO2 emission. This is being done under UNDP project named Removal of Barriers to Energy Efficiency Enhancement. Steel re-rolling sector has gained a lot from this project, and we are sure that continuation of such projects will go a long way in growth of this sector. Re-rolling industry is mainly operated by semi-skilled, unskilled persons. Educate training programs need to be organized for them to make them more knowledgeable, productive, and efficient. The sector is also facing some external challenges due to raw material constraints, availability of finance, and infrastructure bottlenecks. We are aware of these constraints and are working towards mitigating them in a planned way. This has also come to my notice when I was talking to some of your association members that finance, वो बोलते ना कि करे कोई भरे कोई. जैसे मैंने कहा कि अगर आपके 10% है तो आपके सेक्टर को ये कहें कि सॉरी, और ये एक सबसे बड़ा बॉटलनेक है. मैं ये समझता हूँ कि हमारी कैपेसिटी क्रिएट करने की जो 300 मिलियन टन का टारगेट है, उसमें इस बॉटलनेक को with this commitment, and that is true also, that the bank should realize that more you needy, more you efficient, and more you honest. And if something is, more than what you thought of, then one becomes lethargic, one becomes inefficient. And that is why that scenario was there. At one point of time, it came to my notice when I took over as steel minister that 28% of the NPA is in the name of steel sector. So we, as ministry, we want that this kind of feeling with the secondary steel entrepreneurs and also with the banking system, it should be resolved to a great extent so that you should not face any problem as far as your genuine demand of getting loans for the expansion, for going ahead with your industry to increase your efficiency and also to increase your exports. So these are our priorities and we will take care of your this kind of concern. Ministry of Steel has taken several steps to alleviate the challenges faced by the sector. These including expediting installation of coal washeries to increase coking coal production, maintaining the availability of iron ore in the country, and to avoid any disruption in its supply. Discussions are going on for economic utilization of fines through strengthening of iron ore pelletization industry. This has been our priority, and if you go through the 2017 National Policy of Steel, pelletization is one of the prime concern of ours, and we want that the dependability on coking coal, which is to be imported, should be reduced to a great level. That we are making our efforts. Moreover, since secondary steel sector has limited capacity for undertaking research and development, Ministry of Steel is including several research and development projects under SRTMI for the benefit of the secondary sector units. All those secondary steel producers who come forward with innovative and out-of-the-box ideas for research and development in steel industry will be supported through SRTMI by Ministry of Steel. This, I can, I should say like this, that any innovation on your part or to be partner with of any of your innovation with any of our concern, maybe IITs, maybe other organization, maybe some individual taking initiative, and maybe you put your heads together to find out some solution to the problems of secondary steel, then we will certainly be, giving you all kind of help. And it will not be a customary sort of, which used to be in earlier years. It would be effective, and also to see that others should also get encouraged to have some initiative which can also give that kind of backing by the ministry and by SRTMI. We have already put about 200 crore at the disposal of SRTMI. The mills in secondary sector have many advantages like less land requirement, lower capital investment, proximity to users, and less dependence on logistics. So I would like that you realize and leverage your true potential in the Indian steel ecosystem. For the success of our mission to make in steel, make in India, and to achieve the vision of national steel policy of 300 million ton of steel making capacity in India, secondary steel sector will play a major role. Government is fully committed to provide the right policy environment and continuous support in terms of technical assistance and capacity building. I have full faith in the potential and capabilities of the secondary steel producers. You epitomize the saying that necessity is the mother of invention. You have contributed to the development of steel sector in India with limited resources and many challenges. We need to take it further and come up with end-user-driven marketing. Think of prefabricated structures, customized products, tie up with fabricators, and go further in the value chain to capture the market. You will have to think out of the box and go for new approach and new technologies. Keep an eye on government plans for infrastructure development so that you can benefit from the potential opportunities. Let us work together to take steel sector in India to new heights of success and contribute our best to make in India vision and to create a new India. You are welcome to share innovative ideas and suggestions to me or ministry officials, and you will see that novel ideas will be given due importance and support by our ministry. The last but not the least, I should thank all the organizers of this kind of conclave, this kind of seminar, and I usually of this view that the first session may not be that important because it is either the welcoming address of the president of the association and then chief guest is to make a speech. But the session which you have divided into 4 parts, that is very important. And there you would see that some of the problems which you are facing are the genuine problems. And there you would see that some of our viewpoints you will have to take into consideration while taking a broad view of the entire thing. And this, why I am saying, because you are to take initiative as far as BIS is concerned. We want, when I say giving a level playing field, there are certain things which are included to tell you that this is the level playing field. But in my personal opinion, level playing field means if you are in a position to supply the required steel of any of the project, maybe of the Government of India, maybe of any PSUs of Government of India, or maybe any state government initiative, the steel which is manufactured by you, you know the policy which Steel Ministry has come out that domestically manufactured iron and steel products would be given priority by all the government ministries, all the government departments, and state government departments, and other government agencies. But technically, you may also be feeling initial hiccups, initial problems, and that is not in the good taste, I would say, because I thought it when we were to take decision on this, that Indian steel should be given priority. But can Indian steel means only integrated steel plant to produce? No. Our concern was a section which is called secondary steel produces more than the 50%, nearing 60% of the steel. And if they are not the participant in such products, in such projects, then what is the use of announcing this, that domestically manufactured steel would be given priority? So we thought of to bring this thing for level playing field was BIS. And if I am correct, about 80% of the products are now under BIS. But there is some simmering, discontentment with some of the units of secondary steel that we are not even using BIS. We are not being given whenever some tender is floated, some kind of excuse by that concern which floats the tender, and initially our bids are rejected. This we have taken note of this. Madam Aruna Sharma ji has lot of example of this kind of practice which is being followed by certain government departments, and I assure you that you would be given every right to participate, to stake claim, and also to see that in the times to come, the material supplied by you should be of this standard, that here is a tender which was given to a secondary steel unit, and that has proved quality-wise not at all less, but better quality, and that is the requirement of the steel, secondary steel. And also to see that this kind of practice, it takes time. When VAT was introduced in the country, it took time. There were certain, problems, bottlenecks, but with the passage of time, everything got resolved. And same thing, I hope that this policy of ours would be followed strictly. And this is not only regarding steel. When we first took up this issue with the cabinet, we got the approval of the cabinet, chaired by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi. And after, should I say, after 2 weeks' time, another cabinet note was circulated. And there, every product which is Indian product, that got the same status. So we are satisfied on this account that what we thought of our producers, and especially secondary steel producer, that is now the benchmark for every product with the same decision of the cabinet. So I hope this would give another opportunity to all your sector, and I hope, as I have already mentioned, that something would be more tangible while you would be discussing the concerns of your and initiative of ours, so that we can have a balance and we can tell that these are the initiatives by the Ministry of Steel, where we are making very rapid and good advances, so that the infrastructure which is required in our country, what I think is still India needs 70% of the infrastructure is still to come up. And if 70% of the infrastructure for connectivity, maybe transport, road, maybe another mode of transport, maybe railways and all, this kind of, the initiative which we have taken, in our budget, only 18-19 budget, there is a provision of 6 lakh crore for infrastructure. And if this 6 lakh of budget of infrastructure, if we take out 10% of the component which goes to steel, it comes to 60,000 crore. So our consumption is to increase, and our consumption increases, that means steel sector would be in a position to achieve the set targets of ours, that this is now we are nearing 134 million tons of capacity creation. By 2020, it would be nearing 180 or 185, and by 2030-31, the capacity would be 300 million tons. So this way, we hope that in the, I am not a economist, nor I am from आपके परिवार से नहीं हूँ मैं, business या my background is pure agriculture background, लेकिन मैं ये समझता हूँ कि अगले 50 साल आप जितनी अपनी प्रोडक्शन बढ़ाएंगे, आपके देश की बढ़ाई हुई प्रोडक्शन की खपत भी उसी तरीके से होगी, उसको कोई रोक नहीं सकता in the times to come. So I wish all the success to this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us and telling us about our glorious achievements. Thank you. Can we once more have a huge round of applause for sir, please? And ladies and gentlemen, it's time to call on our next chief guest. She is currently Secretary in the Ministry of Steel, Government of India, and is involved in policy making at the highest level. Before joining Ministry of Steel, she was Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. She has won many, many awards and accolades for her groundbreaking work. So ladies and gentlemen, please give a huge round of applause for Srimati Dr. Arunaji Sharma, Secretary of Steel, Government of India, to please come, ma'am. It's an honor and privilege to have you, ma'am. Please come and please address the gathering.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Minister of Steel, Chaudhry Biren Singh, who right from the beginning when I took charge in the ministry, has been constantly telling me what should be center stage is the secondary steel sector. Don't think of only integrated steel sector. Every time we are working on any issue, the center stage has to be secondary steel sector. And the results are visible. Under some excuse or other, I think we had till now 4 conferences on secondary steel of the secondary steel producers. And that is what it has gone a long way of not just improvement in the secondary steel sector, but bringing them on par with the integrated steel sector. As has been very rightly said by Honorable Minister, 57% is your contribution to steel making in the country. And this is something we are again and again and again harping at every level. BIS standards, my team is here of the BIS with whom you will be interacting in the afternoon. We have 37 lines where BIS standard has already been announced and 15 more are in the offing. And there will be on tin plate is a separate thing which is coming out. So in the sense, this is going to put you on par with any integrated steel sector. The Ministry of Steel have also issued directives that when the tenders are being built, there should not be any restrictive from the route by which the steel is made. But we understand there are still some aberrations, there are still some educating to be given. Again, I'll repeat what Minister said. Please bring it to our notice so that we bring it attention to that particular department and get the correction done. The knowledge of steel, that whether it is made from scrap or iron ore, it doesn't make a difference. And we have to go ahead and ensure that you have a same level playing field when you are competing for the rate. There is another policy what the minister mentioned, the other departments have gone for local procurement. In that we are trying to push you, the secondary sector, that local procurement within state government, they have to give preference to the local subsidiary units as well as the local steel producers. So that will also give an edge. That direction is going to come very soon as a generic direction. So please be on the watch and take advantage of it. The secondary steel producing which is coming, now the latest trend which is going to happen is going to be fabrication. The customer, like the first stage was to convince the clients that steel is a better material than the alternate materials. GFR has been amended where life cycle cost was introduced, and now everybody is convinced that yes, the preferred material is steel. But now we have to go to the next stage. The client demands that I am not going to shop at 20 shops. I want everything at one place. And that demand of the client has to be addressed by fabricating it, by tailor-making it to their exact requirements. And this is where the secondary steel sector can now climb the next stage to become a quality fabricator as well. This is very important. So by using your own steel or by using the steel of integrated steel plant, now even integrated steel plant, the bulk buying is disappearing. They also have to go to the fabricating levels for seeking their markets. So that symbiotic arrangements has to be built in so that it will go a long way when you are moving, and that is what the fabricators are going to come ahead. There was a talk that this Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, because they are buying in bulk, they are going to integrated plant, not because of any restrictive standards. My request to you is, this is the time to come up as a consortium and go and educate them that, okay, Maharashtra requirement will be done by all units in Maharashtra. You take a bulk order and step back, redistribute among yourselves who have BIS standards. So that is the way to go about it. Similarly, the minister had a meeting with the railway minister, and one thing that has come up in the last week itself is that now rake can be owned by the steel makers. So they have loosened their policy. Now here again the consortium role will come, that you all together, if you have a great difficulty in a particular route from mine to you, you can own a rake where you manage your own rake and is able to do it. Where you don't get into the main line, the best line is between the mines and you. And that is the way you can operate and your dependency can come down. You have very beautifully put the film. I must thank Mr. Madani and his team. I mean, it's an excellent film, and I request you share the CDs with us so that we will use it to propagate it elsewhere also, because it has been very well made. Excellent way in which you have projected yourselves. Now, in this kind of a film structure, what you have very rightly said, you have flagged one point that, and very correctly said, that our coking coal dependency, you are the answer. And the ministry is also very much aware about it, that you will be the one who will be making this and contributing maybe 75% as you are projecting into our scenario of 2030. Eagerly we are looking forward towards it. A high quality BIS standard, high quality material, low capex, no coking coal import, and you therefore replace our foreign exchange imports, as well as you give us a quality requirement in a fabricated manner, ready to use. That is the kind of a scenario you all have to work together. I'm very happy about it. Many of the state governments have responded to give us a reasonable good power rates. Maharashtra is also one among them. I will thank Maharashtra, I will thank Chhattisgarh. Rajasthan, we are still in dialogue, but Punjab has done it. So in a way, there is an improvement on it, and so that our raw material is taken care of, our consortiums are taken care of, logistic to some extent is taken care of, quality is taken care of, and your technology is taken care of. And last but not the least, what Minister rightly emphasized on the research, this is a must. Constantly you have to evolve, constantly you have to innovate, and definitely any project proposal where you need technology support through IITs and others, they can join with you and we get the results. We are very happy that electrotherm low phosphorus content product has now been commercialized. Happily, the industry has accepted it and we are going ahead. We are very happy about it. We are equally happy about the German technology, which is indigenized. But then, while we are talking about this, it is equally important there are still gaps which needs to be corrected, which needs to be indigenized. With your experience, your technological input, I'm very sure you will go way ahead. I thank the MSME Conclave. They said West Zone, but I find people here from everywhere. So yes, but they have underlined that West Zone is also important. West Zone is a big contributor and West Zone is a big number. We recognize that, and all my best wishes for your conclave. We look forward for your outcomes. We look forward for your documents which come at the end of the conclave. And as Minister has said, the ministry will be working to ensure that we resolve all the issues that come forward. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाए for ma'am. I must say we've had such a beautiful morning. Thanks to the presence of our chief guest, we have kickstarted the proceedings. So let's have a thunderous round of applause for our chief guest. Thank you so much. It is an honor and privilege for us to have you here. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be starting with our proceedings. We'll be starting with our session 1 for the Steel Conclave. I would be calling upon our chairman and panelists, and they'll be having a discussion here. So the topic for the session 1 is upliftment of MSME steel sector and support from Government of India. Can we please have the chairman of our session 1, Shri Paramjit Singh Ji? Can we have a huge round of applause for him? He's the Additional Advisor, Ministry of Steel. May I please call on our panelist, Shri Vishwa Bandhu Ji. Can we have a huge round of applause for Shri Vishwa Bandhu Ji? He's the Senior Deputy Director, NIST. May I please call on stage Shri Avinash Bhandari Ji. Can we have a huge round of applause for Shri Avinash Bhandari Ji? He's the Joint MD, Electrotherm India Limited. We can keep having applauses, please. Can we please welcome Shri Sridhar Rao Ji? Can we have a huge round of applause for Shri Sridhar Rao Ji? He's the Vice President of Danieli India Limited. Let's give a huge round of applause for D.D. Kapoor Ji. Thank you. Shri D.D. Kapoor Ji is the Joint MD, Chorus Engineering Solutions Private Limited. And may I please call on stage H.S. Tripathi Ji. He's the Principal Scientist and Head, CGCRI. Can we have a huge round of applause for Tripathi Ji, please? And now we'll be starting by felicitating our panelists and our chairman. So to do the honors, may I please call on stage Shri Ravinder Agarwal Ji from Guardian Castings to please come and felicitate Shri Paramjit Singh Ji. Can we have a huge round of applause for them? तालियां बजती रहनी चाहिए. Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Now, may I please call on stage Shri Hanuman Garg Ji from Surya Ferris. Can we have an applause for him? And may I request you to please felicitate Shri Vishwa Bandhu Ji with an applause, please. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Yes, sir, we can have the photo, yes. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. May I please call on stage Shri Sher Singh Ji Agarwal from Vaishnav Ispat to come and felicitate Shri Avinash Bhandari Ji with a huge round of applause, please. Come on, it's the start of the day. We can have a huge round of applause for all our panelists and our chairman. Come on, yes. Thank you so much, sir. Now may I please call on stage Shri Kishore Agarwal Ji from Rupam Steel. Can we have a huge round of applause for him? Shri Kishore Agarwal Ji. To felicitate Shri Sridhar Rao Ji. Can we please keep having applauses, please? It's very nice to show our appreciation. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Now may I please call on stage Shri Anil Goyal ji from Kalika Steel. To please felicitate Shri D.D. Kapoor ji. Yes, we can have a huge round of applause for them. Yes, please. Now may I please call on stage Shri Amit Garg ji from Surya Ferris to felicitate Shri H.S. Tripathi ji. Can we have a thunderous round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen? All right, now the stage is yours, sir. Please take the proceedings. Thank you.
Hello. Good morning to all. As you know, the session is basically on the upliftment of MSME steel sector and support. First presentation would be given by Shri Vishabandhu ji. He is Senior Deputy Director, NEST, and he will be talking about technologies and innovation for the MSME sector. And he will also present the data or presentation what we have received from the JPC. The Mr. Bandyopadhyay couldn't come, and he will also present the data received from the JPC.
Hey, good morning to all of you. And the first presentation is on behalf of JPC, Joint Plant Committee. You know that they are the, on behalf of Ministry of Steel, they collect the data from all over India. So a brief presentation on the data as collected by JPC, and that data can be used by Ministry of Steel for upliftment of secondary steel sector. So Indian steel industry an overview with the special focus on the secondary steel sector. So that data speaks in itself that what is the contribution, and then maybe some exports and so like. This presentation was made by Mr. Ranjan Bandyopadhyay, but he could not come, so I am given the responsibility of presenting. Yes. Database. See, the reporting system, we must understand that it includes SAIL, Vizag Steel, RINL, Tata Steel, SR, JSW, Jindal Steel and Power. They are normally called that main steel producers or integrated steel producers. And other producers, we normally mean that producers which are making steel. Because these main producers, they are making steel by blast furnace and starting with the blast furnace. And other producers, they are making the steel from either from the arc furnace route or from sponge iron route, induction furnace route, and including re-rollers. So we come under other producers, and what is normally or standard, it is called as secondary steel sector. Or we can also coin the term as mini steel plant sector. Yes, this capacity, production, stocks. imports, exports, prices, consumptions, all these data are captured by the JPC. We'll share that data. Yeah. It is the largest producer of sponge iron in the world. This was in latest 16-17 as well as 17-18. And as far as crude steel production is concerned, we are the third largest. Every now and then it is told that we are the third largest producer. And we are very sure that because the difference between India and Japan, see, China is undisputed leader, is the number one with more than 800 million tons of steel production. And second one is Japan, almost 104 million tons. And we are very closely following it, almost 101 million ton now in the latest figures. Yeah. So most probably, most likely, we will be crossing the Japan in 2018 itself. So we will be the second one, maybe next year. Third largest consumer of finished steel also, and constitutes 2% of GDP. It's quite good. See that capacity and crude steel production and capacity utilization. In the latest 2017-18, the capacity was 134.7 million tons. This is overall. That means including major producers as well as secondary steel sector, and production was 102.3 million tons. Capacity utilization is 76%. So when we are talking about that capacity creation of 300 million tons as per National Steel Policy 2017, which was out last year by Ministry of Steel, it was focused that in 2030-31, we should have a capacity of 300 million tons, and we already had 134 million tons. And production is 102. That means we are having a capacity utilization of only 76%. So, we not only addition of capacity is required, but also that capacity utilization we have to focus on, because Ministry of Steel in its document has not only told about this capacity creation as 300 million tons, but also the steel production as 255 million tons at a average capacity utilization of 85%. But we are, as on date, we are utilizing only 76%. So we have to utilize more capacity, which is existing one. And this is a good thing that crude steel production is growing by 6% on compounded annual growth rate based on that. Finished steel, that was the crude steel production. Finished steel, this is more than the crude steel, 104.9 million tons. Okay. Imports, 7.5 million ton. Exports, that is a remarkable thing for countries like India, which are developing countries, that we have more of exports of steel rather than imports. See, in earlier few years, we were export negative, import surplus. We were importing more and exporting less. But now we are export surplus, and that margin is almost 2 million tons, more than 2 million tons. Yeah. As far as number of units are concerned, sponge iron units, this was shown in your MSME, that video prepared by Maharashtra Steel Association. Sponge iron units 320, and mostly these are coal based. Capacity with, here is one catch, that we have created a capacity of 46 million ton, but the production is only 28 million tons. Due to whatever reason, that the capacity utilization as far as sponge iron is concerned is not up to the mark, and we have to look into that also, that what factors are restricting us, restricting this sector to why we are not able to utilize that capacity. Because money has already been invested in capacity creation. Electric arc furnace units, which is an important part of this secondary steel sector or MSME, 48 number of units. Although the number of units are less, but as far as the capacity and the production is concerned, this is matching with the induction furnace capacity and the production. We are that capacity is 37 million ton and production is 29 million ton. IF units, induction furnace units, all the number is large and spread throughout the country, almost in all geographical locations. That number is 1126 and capacity is almost 40 million ton, but production is 27. Here again, we are lagging behind as far as the capacity utilization is concerned. So when we consider other things, we must consider this, how we can increase the capacity utilization, because the expenses have already been done. Re-rolling units, 1166 units, again that various clusters have been developed in the country. Capacity is 62 million tons and production is 51 million tons. So great thing for the secondary steel sector. Same thing. Yeah. Here is the percentage share of producers. Share of other producers means this mainly secondary steel sector. Yeah. If we consider the total sponge iron production, the contribution of others as far as 17-18 is concerned, although these are provisional data, but let us take it as final data. We are producing, that share is 20.5%. Million tons. In EF production, similarly, contribution of other producers in re-rollers, re-rolling mills production. Here we have an edge, the secondary steel sector. When I call we, at that itself means secondary steel sector. Trends in production for sale and consumptions. Here again, almost matching with that primary producers. More than 50%. Trends in exports and imports. The contribution, see, normally it is understood that this secondary steel producer or the mini steel sector is not